pso2ngs Waker Guide. What's up, Saviors? GH here. I'm gonna show you how to use Waker skills. What are your skills, your skill tree, skill build, what's the Waker subclass, and what is the best multi-weapon for harmonizers. All that in this video, and with that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's do this. Let's start with what is Waker. It's a DPS technique-based class that uses range and melee technique-based photon arts, which means you will need technique augments to amplify your summon attacks. Now let's talk about Waker attacks, your photon arts, your abilities. First is your normal attack. This is your marking consumption skill and PP recovery skill. Guys, if you have the treble clef skill, it will give you the ability to mark the enemy with the use of all of your Waker attacks except your weapon action. And if you have the ignition skill, it will give your basic attack the ability to ignite or consume the marking. Guys, only the second hit of your basic attack can consume the marking, that explosion right there. Second photon art is Fredran's Breath. This is your mobbing skill. Just hold it and watch enemies get multi-targeted. This is your best mobbing skill. Third photon art is your weapon action. This is your parry. But if you hold it, it will summon a bootleg Pikachu that attacks an enemy. And the more charge you have, the bigger it gets and deals more damage. This is the charge that I'm talking about. This one. When you parry, it gets 1 charge. And the second charge need 2 parries to be charged. This is an excellent skill if you can charge it. Fourth photon art is Fredran Riding. This is your range marker for single target. Always use this by holding it and releasing it when you are riding. 2 hits from the dive attack of Fredran Riding will mark the enemy. Use this photon art to charge your Fredran bar. This one right here. Now, fifth photon art is wulfen Demolition. Technically, this is your strongest attack, but you need to charge it and it can be cancelled, which is kinda annoying. So, use this if you know you're not gonna be interrupted. 1 hit from a full charge wulfen Demolition will mark the enemy. Last photon art is wulfen Raid. This is your melee marker for single target. Always use this by holding it because 2 consecutive full combo hit from this will mark the enemy. Use this photon art to charge the wulfen bar. This one. Now, class skill tree build for the Waker class. Here it is. First over here is harmonizer focus. This will give you the summon bars, which the game calls focus gauge. This bars over here, and each bars can stack up to 2 times. Next skill over here is familiar harmony. This is the skill that consumes the summon bar or focus gauge. This bars. 1 use of familiar harmony consumes 1 Fredran bar and 1 wulfen bar. This is a decent attack, so take advantage of it. Next skill is PP reservation. This will reduce PP consumption when the focus gauge depletes. Next skill over here is treble clef. This is the skill that enables the marking system. And when enemies are marked, they receive a little bit more damage and down factor is increased. Now, next skill is ignition. It will give your basic attack the ability to ignite or consume the marking using the second hit of your basic attack. And when enemies ignite, extra damage will be dealt. So every time you see an enemy is marked, you must ignite it for more damage. And also because of the next skill over here. This skill is connected to ignition and it's familiar support. And what it does is summon a crest. This thing over here. Every time you ignite a mark. And the type of crest depends on the last familiar you summoned. Now that crest will deal damage and gather focus gauge or gather energy for the summon bars. Now, amplifier over here will further increase the accumulation of focus gauge as you keep summoning crest. Next skill over here is marmelo strike. Every time you successfully parry an attack, you gather focus gauge for marmelo, this bar over here. The first bar is just 1 parry and the second bar requires 2 parries. Now, the more bar you have, the stronger your weapon action will be. Yeah, when you hold the weapon action button, you will summon a bigger marmelo that deals more damage. Next skill over here is marmelo parry. This is basically a parry that you can use even if you're attacking. Yes, even if you're in attack animation, you can use this. and it will gather focus gauge for marmelo. This next skill over here will reduce the cooldown of hot marmelo parry. Now this marmelo strike tracing over here will make your marmelo strike homing. Now next skill over here will give you the ability to counter after a successful parry. And this one will give you PP if you successfully parried with a weapon action. Next skill over here is linear drive. This will give you the ability to dash or move back and attack after a photon arc. This is important guys, you gotta learn how to use this. Linear drive is the purple blink. Let me slow it down for you. As you see there, there's a purple blink. And when you press the normal attack button when there's a purple blink, it will make you dash and attack the enemy, which you can follow up with a secondary attack that can consume a mark. Now this skill over here is linear drive on core. This one will give you a secondary purple blink right after the first one, so you can be much more closer to the enemy. This will take practice though. Now let's go to the top. This skill called Retro Friends Rescue. To keep it simple, this skill will heal you if you receive damage that's 40% of your maximum HP. This is the indicator that you're being healed. As you see there, 3 Pokemons will surround you and heal you. Guys, don't mind the description in the game, it's wrong. Anyway, next skill over here is welfare management. This will reduce the damage of attacks and increase rest assign heal when your HP is 30% or lower. Next skill is Resta Effect Continuance. This will lower your initial rest assign heal but gives you heal over time. This is not important. Next skill is Lucky Sign. This will give you a chance not to consume a rest assign. And those are the skills. And here is my class skill tree build for Wakers. Now skill usage guys. How to play as a Waker. How to use Waker in pso2ngs. In general, you will have to charge your focus gauge with fredran riding on the blue side and wulfen raid on the red side. This is how you do it. Hold fredran riding, then when you're mounted, release it, then use linear drive so that you can get closer, attack and recover PP, then hold fredran riding again, and when you're mounted, release it, then linear drive, then do 2 attacks to consume the mark. As you see there, 2 hits from fredran riding's dive attack marks the enemy. Now as for wulfen raid, use it by holding it for it to do a full combo. Then when the full combo ends, use linear drive so that you can get closer, attack and recover PP. Then use wulfen raid again until the combo ends, and that will mark the enemy. Just use linear drive to get closer and attack 2 times to consume the mark. Just keep doing that until you get 2 stacks from both fredran and wulfen, then use familiar harmony. Next is subclass for Waker. For mobbing, it's Force because it can give you PP recovery and will recover PP when an enemy is defeated near you, which is extremely important in PSE burst. And if you're fighting bosses, it's Bouncer for fast downs and increased damage when parts are broken, or you can use Fighter for increased damage on downed enemies. You can also use Hunter for survivability if you want. Now, what's the best multi-weapon for harmonizers? It's launchers, because if you use the weapon action of launcher on an enemy and attack it, after a set amount of time you will recover PP around 50. You can also use Talus because its weapon action will summon a turret that slightly recovers PP, and it's also a technique based weapon, which means you can use it with other classes that can use Talus, and that will save you money. Guys, if you wanna know how to power level in the game, there it goes on the screen, and leave a like before you go. And this is Game Hardcore. See you in the next one.